Hi, my name is Natasha Wellfare. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about my modality, which is called Transactional Analysis, and sometimes we call that TA for short. So TA is a theory that helps us to understand ourselves. So in that sense, it's sort of intrapsychic. We're looking within. We're looking at our thoughts and our feelings. But it's also a theory that helps us to understand how we form relationships with others and how we communicate. So in that sense, it's about how we see ourselves in the world. So to begin with, I think it's really important to talk about Eric Byrne, who is this sort of charismatic Canadian who was very busy writing papers and books and publishing his ideas in the 60s and 70s. And he came up with this idea of a life script. Now, he said that a life script is a plan that we make in childhood that serves us really well in childhood, actually. It helps us to get our needs met when we have very little control and very little power. But what happens is, as we get older, sometimes this life script, this sort of life plan, can become quite limiting, and it can start to hold us back. So he said that, the goal for therapy, the goal for us really is to put a new show on the road, as one of his very famous quotes, to really put our own show on the road, I guess, so that we can really sort of take control of our lives. Really important piece of theory in TA, and you may have already heard of this, is called ego states. And ego states, again, help us to understand what's happening inside of us, but also ego states can be really useful to think about how we communicate. There are 3 ego states: the parent, the adult, and the child. And just to give you an idea of how I might work with clients and ego states in a therapy session. So if I'm working with a client with their sort of parent ego state, I might hear my client using the word should quite a lot and sort of potentially beating themselves up. And so something that I might be doing in that scenario is helping them to sort of separate that voice from their own voice and find their own authentic voice. What do you really think? What do you really feel? Because when we're in our parent ego state, we've really sort of borrowed that from our own parents or our own caregivers. It's not really our own thinking and feeling. So then we come to our child ego state. And if I'm working, with the child ego state with a client, as an example, perhaps a client might be feeling really unimportant. They might feel that it's not okay for them to be important. And that's a sort of a child set of thoughts, feelings and behaviours. They're replaying their childhood in some ways. And I might be, helping them to understand that, it's okay to be important. And we call that giving permission. So I might be giving them a permission to be important. And so we're just sort of updating some of that old stuff. And then we come to the adult ego state. And if I'm working with a client in their adult ego state, I'm probably working to strengthen the adult ego state. So being an adult is all about using all of your here and now resources, problem solving, not getting too pulled back into the past or being pulled worrying about the future. It's about, making the best of what you've got, being super sort of realistic and, facing things head on. And so something I might be doing with clients is helping them to build that adult ego state, because it's really important for mental health to have a healthy amount of adult available. So the next piece of theory I wanted to talk about is actually my favourite TA theory, and it's called psychological games. We all play psychological games. And when we're playing these games with others, we invite others into these games with us. We're on a triangle. It's called the Karpman drama triangle, and we're either being a rescuer, we're being a persecutor, or we're being a victim. And what TA, and you might actually, as soon as you hear that, be able to recognise yourself in one of those positions. And what TA really helps us to do is it helps us to understand and be aware that we're playing these games, and it helps us to find perhaps a healthier way of getting our needs met. So finally, moving on to the goal or the aim of TA psychotherapy. And Eric Byrne said that this is to achieve autonomy. And he was really specific about what he meant by that. He said that autonomy is awareness. So he talked about being able to hear the birds sing in your own way rather than in a way that you've been taught, which is a lovely way of thinking about autonomy, of awareness. He talked about spontaneity. He talked about, the importance of being able to feel a whole range of authentic feelings, enjoy the moment, and really, be present, I guess. And the other component, the last component of autonomy, is intimacy. He felt that relationships are so important, and in order to be really happy and healthy, we need to be able to have close, intimate relationships, be authentic without kind of manipulating each other or playing games. So that's a really brief introduction into TA. I hope it's useful, and if you want to find out more, do just get in touch.